A lot of work ahead, getting those reforms to become laws or executive orders, and then, to actually be implemented in the country. But let's go back to the biggest story in Nigeria this time, which is the suspension of that strike. While conversation goes on, the tripartite committee meeting with unions, the workers' union. But earlier today in Lagos, this is the site that a lot of us saw on our way to work. Filling stations seem to have been caught in that bog of the strike. So even though you see filling stations or petrol stations selling, dispensing, but there were long queues. I've reached out to our correspondents in other states, and it's not the same. This is just for Lagos. But we do hope that this will be cleared, especially since the strike has been suspended for now while we await the results of the conversation between the tripartite committee and the workers' union. And the core of that conversation ongoing now between the tripartite committee and the trade union is how much should the minimum wage be? There's also, of course, the requests of the unions to go back to the old electricity tariff, but a major part is the minimum wage. How much should it be? We had Mr. Ruwani put it, that's Mr. Bismarck Ruwani, Chief Executive Officer of Financial Derivatives Company, put it at 90. We had Dr. Mude Yusuf, the CEO of CPPE, putting it at about 100. But let's find out what it should be if we're talking about a living wage for workers in the country. And joining us to have this conversation is Mr. Michael Adeleye. He's a human capacity development professional. Joins us right here in the studio. Mr. Adeleye, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Good to have you. So you did share what an average of what a family of 5 could spend or should be spending at this time. Yep. And you think that should be used to determine what a minimum wage would be?
Absolutely, yeah.
So, and in recent times, we've seen there's been some changes to the value of the naira and inflation and things like that. I want to believe you captured those in your consideration of this template.
Yes, indeed, yeah, I did, yeah.
All right, so let's take a look at it. You said that this information is actually from Mr. Adeleye, not particularly his family, but I mean, of an average family of 5 in this country. So you did place breakfast at 75,000 naira. That's high, isn't it? Is that how much it costs right now to feed a family of 5? A
family of 5, yeah, absolutely, for a month. For a month. Yeah, for a month. So that's just breakfast, yeah.
That breakfast. What are some of the ingredients that you look at?
Okay. Basically, I'm basing this on a family of 5.
So, Mr. Ade, I think you should come this way, exactly, because the viewers would like to see your face also.
Right, okay.
Okay, so while you're referring to this, there's also a camera.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm basing this indices or statistic on a family of 5. That's a husband, the wife, and 3 kids.
Children.
And 3 children.
So we have them here.
Absolutely.
A husband, wife, and then 3 children. But this is rather high. What are the ingredients that you consider?
Right. This information here is just a family living a modest life, not even living a luxury. Just a modest. Now, the family is going to be fed on what we call a 101, which is just breakfast and dinner. I'm not even talking about the lunch.
I see dinner is even cheaper at 30,000.
Yeah. Now, if you look at the breakfast, the family of 5. Now, we used to buy a loaf of bread, the slice for about 500 naira. Now, as we speak, it's about 1,500. Okay. Now, 1,500. They're going to have to use milk. The beverages, the chocolate drink, the sugar, a 120 ml of milk. The little one is about 400 naira. Okay? The sugar is involved. A sachet of water, the bag is about 500 naira now. They're going to have to use that. Then the cooking gas comes into being as well. Now, if you put that all together for every breakfast they have, I have the figures in here, which means they're going to have a sliced bread cost about 1,500. 120 ml of milk costs 400 naira. Then the sugar, water, cooking gas, to boil the water, drink or chocolate, 600 naira. Then in total, you have it 2,500 2,500. That is just for their breakfast. Okay. Now, 2,500 every single morning for 30 days. That is how you get that.
So that means, I'm sure in the midst of all of this,
yeah.
I mean, the bread obviously is a reality, and all of those ingredients.
That's just basic.
A change, yeah. There must have been a change in what makes up breakfast for some families in the country.
If you think about cornflakes, that's cereal, you can't even arrive at this figure. It's going to be about 2 or 3 times this figure. Because buying cornflakes, buying the cereals and other ones, it's going to be more expensive. I'm just talking about basic, modest family, living on just a slice of bread, a loaf of bread for 5 family every single day. It will cost them every morning 2,500 to have breakfast in the morning. Times for the whole month, it will come to about 75,000 naira.
Now, how come the dinner is cheaper?
Now, the dinner, we're looking about because you're buying in bulk. You buy the gari, you buy the beans. Now, I base these statistics, obviously, I base it on just gari and beans, right? A paint bucket of beans, as we speak today, it used to be around about 2,300. As we speak, it's about 9,000 naira. Now, a gari used to be about 750 per that small bucket. I mean, that small bucket, 750. Now it's about 3,800. So if you buy 2 gari, which is going to cost you around about 4,000, you buy the other one, which is the beans, is about 18,000, plus all the cooking ingredients that you're going to have to use, the peppers, tomatoes, and everything. It costs you about 20,000, okay, for 2 buckets of beans, then for 8,000 for for the gari and the ingredients. That's 30,000 for a month. So basically, for a house of 5 family, 2 small buckets of beans. I'm not even talking about other like semovita, plantain, and everything. I'm just saying basic beans and gari for a month. It will cost you that's household for 30,000 naira. Now.
You have airtime, you have school expenses.
You have clothing, you have accommodation. Now, that accommodation you're looking at there.
Yeah, because we don't pay monthly, mostly in Nigeria.
That's right, but on a monthly basis, for a modest family, in the cheapest environment, accommodation now for a family of 5 will cost you nothing less than 25,000. Then cost of transportation. Now, based on the husband alone making the money, going to work, we have 21 working days in a month. So minimum, assuming the guy is living not too far from his house, that's about 1,000 naira every single day. For 21 days, that will cost you 21,000. Then electricity, people were looking at that figure, 10,000. Now, I'm basing that on Bandi, which is the cheapest. The cheapest that you can get now in the country is Bandi, which will cost you minimum of about 10,000 naira. So if this is Bandi,
I'm sure you also have to include the cost for petrol or generator.
I'm just saying, I'm basing this on just a modest family that you don't have money for petrol, you don't have generator, but you can afford to pay, at least when you have power, maybe 4 or 5 hours a day to power your home. That will cost you about nothing less than 10,000 naira.
So with your proposal, with this picture, which obviously are estimates,
yeah.
You're thinking that a fair minimum wage should exceed 198,000 naira?
Absolutely. I mean, that is not even enough. If I put other miscellaneous in there, it's not because you're not talking about the school uniform, the shoes, the maintenance of the husband, the maintenance of the wife. Of course, she's a woman. She needs to get maintained at least to the barest minimum. The husband goes to work every day. The clothing, the shoes, and everything I have to buy. So if you put all that together, it's going to be more than this. But I'm just saying, the government is saying to us, tighten your belt, try to manage. A modest family who wants to cut everything, there is not even social outing in here. Like somebody wants to go on social gathering, go out to perform some activity. That cost is not even there. This is just living modestly, feeding, and living in your home. Go
yeah,
so
I think the other side of the conversation is this is following the union, what the union is saying,
yeah.
The principle of economic realities.
Absolutely.
But also there's the the principle of sustainability or affordability for those who would pay, even for employers of labor, both the private and the public sector, can they afford to pay every month more than 198,000 naira?
I love that question. The issue is this: we have the money. The problem we are having in this country of how to manage that money, it's money management. Now, the government, legislature are saying to everybody, you need to tighten your belts, you need to cut your cost. But are they doing the same thing? Are they cutting their cost? Now, if you look at the average, let me talk about the national, not even the subnational. The national, our legislators, the senators are earning roughly gross earning around about 28 million every single month. If you look about the House of Reps member, they earn around about 25, 26 million.
I'm sure you have heard a lot of conversations where they have denied all of that.
They're going to deny that, but okay, they have a salary. They have constituency allowance, which is meant to be spent for their constituency. That goes into their pocket. They have newspapers allowance.
You can't say for sure that goes into their pocket. We still see constituency projects.
In my constituency, I can't really tell what's going on in there, and that money goes into that person that represents our constituency. They have newspapers allowance. They have cook allowance. They have gardeners allowance. They have recess allowance. When you put all this together, I gross. Look, you're talking about they could deny how much they're earning. They're talking about that basic direct salary. If you put all the gross, all the entitlement they're actually earning, it's humongous. Now, if somebody is earning, I have some calculations in here. If somebody is earning 28 million gross a month, okay? We have 109 senators in this country, okay? We have 360 members, House of Reps in this country. Now, let's do some calculations, little calculations in here. 28 million. Let's talk to yourself, among yourself, you this legislators, and say, okay, let's give out. Everybody is going through this. We're all in this together. Let's give out 20% of what we earn, just 20%, because these guys have been pushed to the wall. They've cut down everything. The food that's gone up, inflation that's gone up, taking all their earnings. The value of the money has gone down, depleted, and we can't. What's it called? The value of that money they spend, you can't even see what you buy with the money. So the issue is this: 20% of 28 million gives you 5.6 million. Multiplied by 12, that is in a year. Okay, it gives you around about 67.2 million. If you multiply that by 109 senators, it gives you 7.3 billion. Okay, coming down to the members of the House of Reps. House of Reps, right? Okay, they earn around about, let's just say 26 million every single month. 20% of that will give you 5.2 million. Multiply that by 12, it gives you 62.4 million. Then multiply by 360 members, it gives you 22.5 billion. Add that together, it gives you 29.8 billion. That is just...
So you think that this can be funded, a minimum wage that is more realistic can be funded by reducing if
we all agree together that we are all in this together, let's just cut our expenses of risk. Look, you're telling everybody that the country, the economy is so tight, but you're spending humongous money to buy SUVs. You live in you lavish houses, expenses living, and you can't expect something. Look, in my language, they say if somebody wants to sew a cloth for you, like you need a cloth, you first of all look onto that person, what sort of cloth that person is putting on. Now, if you want me to actually cut on my expenses and live within or below average, then of course you have to do something as well. You're representing, we chose you, you're representing us. Do something over there. Then also, that money comes over into a treasury. Then also, you did mention about the private sector. That is going to cause a little bit of hardship on the private sector. But the government has to intervene. The government intervention on this is simply talking to every business owner how to cut their taxes. You could give tax holidays. You could cut on their corporation taxes, because it's not going to go for long. You have to put a time scale to it. Okay, let's say for the next 12 months. If you're paying for your corporation tax about 1 million, pay us around about 400,000. So you could use that money to pay your staff. Everybody has to be in it.
All right, Mr. Adeleye, thank you so much for your ideas. I mean, conversations are going on now, so we do hope all of this sip into that. But thank you so much for coming, Mr. Michael Adeleye, Human Capital Development. All right, now let's take a break. When we come back, we'll head to the markets as well as other parts of the program right here on Business Incorporated. To stay with us.